Foot Chain, everybody. This week we're going to tackle another great Rolling Stones song. It's off of the Let It Bleed album, and it's called Midnight Rambler. This is going to be about the album version. There's also a very popular live version on the Get Your Ya-Ya's Out and the Hot Rocks Greatest Hits album. That's where I heard it the first time, actually. But this is one of those great songs where, if you were like me, you wrestled with it a little bit. You're listening to it and you're like, it's just basic rock and roll. How can it be what I'm playing is just sounding wrong? You know, it's in the key of B, but it's just not turning out right. Well, it's one of those things where, once again, it's rock and roll. And when it's rock and roll, 9 times out of 10, if not 99 out of 100, if you're working too hard to get that sound that you're hearing on the record, they're not doing it that way. They're doing it something easier. And a lot of times it's a capo. And that's what's happening on this song too. So Keith is using a capo on 7. And then everything sort of magically, very, very easily falls into place. So we're going to walk through that here. So in terms of tone, I got my Les Paul. He was playing a Les Paul, I think a Les Paul Custom, black one at that time. Sounds very full and rich to me, so I'm up here on my neck pickup. I do have some overdrive dialed up here, but I'm rolling the volume back till about 7 or so, because it's not screaming, you know. And in fact, that actually may be even too much if you're trying to match the record. If you really listen to it, you can hear each individual string very clearly, so he doesn't have a lot of dirt on it, but there is dirt in there, so anyway, capo on 7. Les Paul on my front pickup. I've got my little bit of overdrive, volume back to 7. I got my tone back to about 8. And that's the tone we're going to go for today. So your chords basically are your E shape, your D shape, and your A shape. That's the whole thing, right? So the main riff, it's based off of that E shape, and then you hop over your D and you just do this. That's all there is to it. And then you end on the A, right? So you're just fooling around with the different sort of ways that you could play those chords. Throw that in there one at a time. That even sounds a little bright to me, so I'm going to roll even more tone off. All right, so your first riff was that. So your next riff is D to A. You're going to pull off on the D like you did. And you're going to go to the A and you're going to pull off of that. No hands. And then you end on the E. So again, it's just the same chords. You're just rearranging them. Everything falls into place when you put that capo on there. I don't know why it was so hard for me to figure that out years ago when I was trying to learn it, but there you go. You know, you don't know what you don't know. So that's really it. So riff number 1. Riff number 2 starts on the D. And that's all there is to that. Now, all the other parts of the song are just different jams off of those riffs. So, you know, they do some time changes and they change the, you know, the groove a little bit. You know, it's it's just what makes the Stones great, right? So there's a couple other little riffs that are worked in there. So there's the right when they break it down. So that's just going between the A and the B. And the E shape. I know it's not an A, it's an E, and it's a B, but you know what I'm saying, right? So you just play with that. You can wiggle your index finger on there for one of them, but not all of them. Right? And then there's one of those riffs that he does in there really quiet. He goes... So that's just making you're going to end on your E7, right? Because you're going to do your E7 shape, but you're going to start 1 fret down. So on the 3rd fret above the capo, and you end up on the 4th, and you pull that number 1 string off. Give it a good wiggle. And then they keep going into the groove. They do that whole breakdown section where they're playing quiet and they stab, right? And then they bring it back up to tempo and bring everything back again. It's just great, 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 great song. If you're listening to this video, it's because you've heard the song and you love it, right? But it's really not that complicated in terms of chords and playing and tone. It's just, this is the secret. It's the capo, right? Now, what I'm not going through here is the crazy 12-string out of tune that's also going on throughout that song. I debated doing that here, but I'm not going to do it here. It's not my favorite part of the song, and I love the album version, but I also love the live version, and one of the reasons I love the live version is that out of tune 12-string is not on that, and it's just pure rock. It's great. But otherwise, they're pretty faithful to what they do. And that's it. So, capo at 7, Les Paul on your rhythm pickup, put some overdrive on, roll your volume back to about 7, roll your tone back to about 6 or 7. And that's it. Just make it bark, right? And have fun with it. So that is Midnight Rambler. All right, thanks everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Give us a thumbs down if you don't. But let us know what you think. Let me know what song you'd like me to take on next week too. And if you haven't done so already, appreciate if you subscribe and ring the bell. It lets you know as soon as I post my next video, and you can check that out too. But appreciate all your support, everybody. And until next week, take care.